Released by Capcom in the year 1993 on the Super Nintendo, Breath of Fire would be Capcom's first and premier RPG series. Written and directed by Yoshinori Kawano, the game would be localized in English with help from Squaresoft. For characters, the game features a boy named Ryu and a girl named Nina, which would become a mainstay for the series to come, as well as establishing a world setting full of many demi-humans. For gameplay, battles are turn-based and held from an isometric viewpoint, with combat being typical menu-based fare. There are 8 playable characters in total, though only 4 can be fielded in battle at a time, and each offer a unique move that can be used on the overworld to expand exploration or gain resources. Also, there is a day and night cycle that affects enemy spawns as well as events around the world, unique skills that can be taught by certain NPCs to certain characters, as well as a fishing minigame that would become a series staple. The story only gets larger from here, so let's cut it down to size with a recapitation. As the game begins, we recount how, like many empires that rise and fall, the Dragon Empire is one such short-lived rule, though a new clan of Dark Dragons is seeking to reclaim that lost glory. Despite their destructive history, the Dark Dragons would begin their campaign of taking over the world with new powers gained from a mysterious goddess. As they now turn their attention to the Light Dragon village, a young warrior named Ryu is startled awake and surrounded by flames. With the other surviving villagers, he learns the Dark Dragon King, Zog, is plotting against the other dragon families, starting with the Light Dragon clan here, perhaps unaware that they have lost the power of transforming into a dragon. The villagers are prepared to go down fighting, but Ryu's sister and village priestess Sera instead turns them all into stone so they will not be burned and reminds them they will have another mission to fulfill. She draws the attention of the Dark Dragons away, but shows she is no pushover with her powerful magic. Unfortunately, the powerful General Jade is able to evade her attacks, mentions claiming the goddess keys, and soon overwhelms and captures her. We now learn that when the dragon family was in rule, the goddess Tyr appeared and granted wishes and desires, which promoted jealousy and savage infighting among the dragons. When the world was on the edge of ruin, a warrior stepped forward with 7 allies and locked up Tyr with 6 keys. The 6 goddess keys were then scattered and hidden around the world, and the Light Dragons would soon bring balance and peace. Back with the villagers, Sera's spell lifts and the Light Dragons are relieved to be saved, but are divided on whether to try and survive or fight and rescue Sera. Ryu, however, has made up his decision to rescue his sister and waste no time moving out. He approaches the nearby castle town of Camelot, finding them recovering from Dark Dragon occupation as well. Helping the king there with the problem of monsters infesting his castle, Ryu removes the frog sitting on the throne and earns their trust. They tell him of a hidden palace in the Nanai dungeon where the Earth Key is sealed, and so he makes his way to Nanai next. At night, he sees the lack security the Dark Dragons have left, and so Ryu is able to slip in unopposed. He indeed finds a lightly guarded machine within Nanai Palace with the key still within a strange stone tablet. Removing it, the entire building rumbles with a strange power, as he now hears an ominous voice warning him to run while he still can before their arrival. As he escapes, the tremors bury the entire town, as the machine was controlling the quakes as suspected. Returning to the king, he understands losing Nanai if it also meant destroying the Dark Dragon occupation, and directs him next to the kingdom of Winland. Traveling there, he sees the Wing Clan that can also turn into great birds, and learns their king has refused to submit to the Dark Dragons but has also been absent recently. He overhears the king has actually been poisoned, and his daughter Princess Nina is searching for a rare remedy for it on her own. It seems Zog is the one who poisoned him, but a wizard from Karma Tower has been known to use the same poison. Taking a small retinue of soldiers with her, she heads out towards Karma, and learns along the way the same wizard has been raising undead minions. Reaching his tower and confronting him, the wizard releases a toxin called Xeon gas that specifically saps the strength of the Wing Clan, and one guard is ordered to go seek help as Nina and the other guard are easily beaten and captured. They think to ask Ryu, who won't be affected by the Xeon gas, for help as they round up a rescue party and force their way through a blockade of Dark Dragons to Karma Tower. Ryu quickly strikes down the wizard and rescues Nina, who grabs the remedy for her father as they hurry back to his side. He recovers quickly with renewed vigor, and though Ryu is humble to ask for any reward, Nina volunteers to join him on his quest to oppose Zog. Heading out, their next destination is the river town of Tantar, home to the Forest Clan, and its sister town, Tuntar, who have had their chief and water taken from them by the Dark Dragons, who are hiding in the Forest of Despair nearby. The fog-riddled dark makes it easy to be lost in these woods, though Ryu and Nina find the Dark Dragon's hideout. While defeating the guards within, a beastman sharpshooter named Bo rescues the chief as they team up to take on the general behind this. After his defeat, the general flees, and Bo joins their effort in their common enemy of Zog. Thanks to Bo's tracking and traversal skills, they cut through the woods and focus on fixing the dried up river. The chief they rescued lets them know there is a robot they can activate that can move the rock that dams the river, but they need the key from the mystical Agua Tower. After helping purify the curse that plagues the small town of Romero, they gain a means to call down the floating Tower of Agua and defeat the spirits within to gain the space key that can also control the robot. Entering the stone robot, they defeat another meddling general within and get the stone heart of the robot pumping again. Finding another stone tablet, this one controls the robot as they command it to reach the rock damming the river and destroy it. A single beam from the robot blasts the rock wall, reviving the river's flow once more and saving both towns. As thanks, the leader of Tantar opts to tell Ryu where a ring so powerful the Dark Dragons were holding their water ransom for it is hidden, and retrieving it easily, the group returns to find themselves in time to enjoy the festivities for a wedding in town. Unfortunately, while this happens, a gremlin general steals the stone robot and uses its laser to destroy the entire town of Tantar in a single blast. Before it can power up to destroy Tantar as well, the group hurries back within the robot to seize control from the enemy. They defeat him, but curiously the stone robot now moves on its own towards a nearby volcano, and the group gets out. As the robot steps into the volcano on its own, it destroys itself as it says goodbye and urges them not to make the same mistake again. The lava overflow from the volcano now cools in the nearby river, and the group proceeds onward to the port city of Oria to the south. Along the way, they find a special dragon shrine where Ryu passes a trial by combat and unlocks his racial ability to transform into a powerful dragon of various elements. However, as soon as they enter the affluent city, they are arrested on the charge of theft and thrown into a cell immediately. They escape rather casually thanks to an especially capable inmate, and learns there is the town of Bleak nearby that they learn firsthand is full of tricky thieves and shady townsfolk. As they spot a familiar policewoman practicing for her next street fight, they are asked by a noble named Ross to rescue his daughter who was trapped in his vault, but the best man to crack the safe would be a man named Karn who is currently raiding a crypt past the desert. Braving the blistering heat of the desert, they come across the oasis town of Arid, and do a favor for the mayor to gain access to the crypt. The group gets caught in a flooding room trap, but fortunately Karn, the inmate they met earlier, is there to free them. He agrees to help them with their task if they help him get a certain book from this crypt first, and they agree to cooperate, letting a savvy thief Karn into the party. Thanks to Karn, they get past the locked doors and many traps in the crypt, only to find the real treasure was the confidence gained along the way. Freeing Ross's daughter, they learn the noble himself was going to give the light key to the Dark Dragons in exchange for their safety, and knowing it's a trap, she locked herself and the key in here. They learn the Dark Key is still in Dark Tower, and climbing the aptly named tower to claim the key first, they are told the Light and Dark Key form a pair. Persuading Ross to change his mind and not trust the Dark Dragons, they also gain the Light Key, and move to free the docks from Dark Dragon control. Pushing the dragons back, the dragons sink the moored ship in the harbor and get away promising revenge, but the townsfolk tell the group of a secret cave that can lead them right back to their camp for a sneak attack. Doing so, they find the Dark Dragons getting ready to set sail on their own, but the party raids and handily defeats the forces on board. Taking the ship back to Oria, they thank Ross, rallying a sailing captain and small crew, and a fishman named Gobi asks them for a favor to help him get to Prima once they embark. Agreeing to help, they cast off on their new vessel, though they accidentally run into the Dark Dragon naval reinforcements en route to Oria. They choose to stop the forces here, but are terribly outnumbered. Gobi has the idea to blow the ship up with the ordnance on board, and overrun, they have little choice but to agree while they abandon ship. Gobi's reckless plan does indeed eliminate all enemy ships, but now stranded in the middle of the ocean, things go from bad to worse as the party is swept up by a whirlpool and spit up on a deserted island. Optimistic, Gobi mentions Prima is actually an underwater city near here, but mentions the group will need a breathing apparatus called a gill to get there, scalping it to the group with a cutthroat markup. As he goes to Prima to hold up his end of the deal, the merchant city is also full of many aggressive traders, and going south with his own gill ended up costing Gobi his license to do business here. They push him towards the nearby town of Gant, and there he learns a lot of their young men have been kidnapped by the Dark Dragons. He does a delivery job for the Prima Guild leader, and as thanks earns some gills for the group. Suddenly, news of a boat of theirs being attacked by Dark Dragons comes in, and the lone survivor is on death's door with a spirit of death waiting to claim them. As the guild leader wants information out of him first, Gobi strikes a deal to hire him and his warrior to handle the ghost, and Gobi hurries back to the group with the job. Coming in, Ryu and team make short work of the ghost, saving the life of Ox, a burly metalsmith who made sure to escape the attack so he could warn them all. He informs them the Dark Dragon stole the smithies of his town and was forcing them to make a secret weapon while holding their families hostage. Nina reassures them their group has sworn to defeat Zog's forces, and so the Iron Ogre joins their party. His sheer strength lets them smash their way to Nabal Dungeon, though as they head out from Gant, Karn is met by a shaman of an ancient clan who reveals they are blood relatives. From him, he learns his bloodline's secret technique of fusion, allowing him to combine with other members of the party to become even more powerful beings. Raiding the Nabal dungeon, they take out the warden to free the other prisoners, but find their families and the weapon are still in Nabal, including Ox's pregnant wife. Creating a distraction with the local wildlife, they rescue the families of the smithies, but Ox's wife urges them to chase after a general who has loaded the weapon, a torpedo, onto a ship headed out to destroy Prima. They are requested to ask Wisden's sorceress for aid to save Prima, though she lives in a moving town in the desert. As they catch the wandering castle, they find the sorceress Blue is still sleeping, and learn she is one of the immortal race called Endless, though when they wake her and tell her their plight, she simply hands them an old egg and instructs them to hatch it in an undersea volcano. The bug that hatches will cause a typhoon and sink the Dark Dragon ships carrying the torpedo, and with that she returns to her rest. They quickly do so, and returning they urge her once more to come with them and quell the chaos engulfing the world. Reluctantly agreeing, Blue, also known as Dees, joins the party, and they hurry to intercept the Dark Dragon fleet. As they surface, Blue's Typhoon Bug only gets the job half done, and so the party, supported by Prima's warriors, engage the rest of the battalion underwater. At the same time, Ryu's work is not gone unnoticed, as Zog orders Jade to get rid of the Light Dragon interfering with them and get him the rest of the Goddess Keys, to which Jade now turns to his Elite Four Devas, Curl, Goda, Court, and Moat. Back with the group, the city of Prima is saved, and as thanks to Gobi especially, the guild reinstates his license and grants him back his sphere that allows his clan to turn into big fish. With Gobi's help, the group traverses the deep ocean depths, and venturing onward they soon find the village of Gusts, where they hear talk that some people turn insane when the north wind blows. Looking into it, they go upwind to find a strange flower whose pollen is blowing towards a town that makes the party a bit loopy themselves, as well as an odd laboratory nearby. Checking in, Court is within, and slips away while unleashing a strange formula on the group that shrinks them to the size of mice. Mere insects are now a deadlier threat, as passerby mice prove to be unexpected allies, helping the party restore themselves to their normal sizes. Chasing Court again, they learn some of the monsters under him are actually missing townsfolk that became experiments. Catching Court outside, his flower has now grown to monstrous size, though after weeding out the terror, Court beats a quick escape as the madness infecting the town is dispelled. The townsfolk fix a nearby bridge for the group, allowing their journey to continue, as the evil scientist makes one final but fruitless stand to defeat the party. Now moving in the direction of the Imperial capital Scand, they find a young girl flagging them down and detour to the underground home of the Dirt-Eating clan, where they learn their moleman warrior Mogu has been trapped in the dream world by one of the four Devas, Moat. An item in tunneling can help them, so they venture back to the City of Music, where they make a deal to get the item to help Mogu in exchange for changing the mind of their princess, who is smitten with Zog and wants to give him the time key. The princess is convinced Tyr will grant her and Zog eternal youth together, and after failing in their talks with her, they opt to steal the time key first. After Ryu spies on the princess while she bathes for research purposes, they learn where the time key is hidden. However, Curl of the Four Devas is one step ahead of them, stealing the key from right under their noses. As the princess was betrayed by Zog's forces and denied her dream of eternal youth, the group is allowed the item to help Mogu. Returning to him, they jump into Mogu's dream world, where his emotions and thoughts are made manifest. As they recombine his fractured mental states, a timid but determined Mogu now joins the party, waking up in real life to pledge his efforts to beating Zog as well. Making their way to the town of Spring, curiously covered in snow, the townsfolk say not only is the sky key in the nearby Spire Tower, but someone has cast a spell of winter on the area. Climbing the tower, things seem pretty straightforward, but waiting for them where the key would be is Moat, proclaiming he already got the key and they all walked into his trap. He warps them all into his own dream world, and wandering around they are surprised to find Moat's conscience hidden away, who is eager to help them defeat Moat, literally breaking down mental barriers for the party. With Moat's conscience's help, they are able to better define Moat within his own dream and defeat him from within, escaping from the dream world and reclaiming the Sky Key. Using the Sky Key on the nearby tablet, they change the climate back to normal, opening up new routes previously frozen over. They come across the town of Carmen now, where oddly everyone in town seems frozen in time. Another traveler who just came by earlier wonders if the nearby Tok Tower has anything to do with it, and so the group moves to investigate. Predictably, the person behind this mayhem is Curl, with the stolen time key, though her interference causes an unexpected space-time distortion, in which Curl recognizes the traveler in Carmen as Alan, but the distortion catches the party and sends them away. Separated, Ryu makes his way back to Carmen, where the rest of the party has already gathered, and are with Alan, who turns out to be Curl's childhood friend. Alan believes Curl would never help the Dark Dragons, and goes out to find her, meeting her at the top of Tok Tower. Curl, however, states she's changed since they were young, slashing at him and turning into a monster to fight the party. While they fight, she loses, but before Ryu and companions can overwhelm her, she opens another distortion and shows them the townsfolk, and accelerates the age of a few of them, telling the party to stand down before she keeps on aging them until they die. Complying, the group allows themselves to be caught in another distortion, but this one takes them as well as Curl to a fortress to the south of Carmen, where she locks herself inside with magic. They take Alan to be healed up and rest. As he explains when they were growing up, he and Curl were as close as siblings, though the townsfolk eventually decided to cast her out because she wasn't a human. He has never stopped thinking about her since, and thinks he can still get through to her if he had something she loved from her past, like the fruit of a holiday tree from his hometown. The endeavor works, as Curl lowers her guard to let the group in her fort. To their surprise, she surrenders, and explains she is tired of fighting now, regretting her choice to hurt Alan. Taking the time key from her with no resistance, a hidden Goda now attacks Curl, calling out her betrayal to Zog. She says she'll buy time for them and hold him off as they escape, and they take her offer, though Alan barges in to be with Curl again, right before the castle warps away. Setting things right and restoring time to the village again with the tablet and talk tower, something goes wrong as the key seems stuck in it now. Nina gets caught in another space-time distortion when trying to remove it and gets flung away somewhere, and though the group tries to follow, when they find her, she suddenly has amnesia of them all. Hurrying to craft a tonic to cure her ailment, she not only recovers her memory, but also has the vigor to use her clan's ability to transform into a great bird and carry the party anywhere. Now, with the keys in their possession and nothing in between them and Zog, who is in the imperial capital of Scan, the group makes the final preparations, including unlocking Ryu's most powerful dragon transformation. They make their way past the guards and up the elevator, knocking down the door to Zog. Zog is actually pleased to see the power of a dragon at work, and agrees only the strongest should stand on top of the world. He assumes his true Dark Dragon form, challenging Ryu, and as both dragons clash, the lone Light Dragon warrior overwhelms and destroys the ambitious ruler of the Dark Dragons. Though he claims his vision still lives on, he urges Ryu to use his strength and build a new generation for dragons anyway, as he falls. With this, the floor collapses underfoot and the party tumbles into a small dungeon, where Ryu is surprised and happy to see his sister Sera once again. She congratulates Ryu and the others on their victory, saying the last step now is to destroy the Goddess Keys. She asks Ryu for the Goddess Keys now, and eager to comply they hand them over, though Sera then steps back, scoffing at how easy that was. A hooded man now appears, revealing himself to be General Jade, as Sera quickly hands all the Goddess Keys over to him. He thanks Ryu for gathering the keys and handling Zog, explaining that Sera has been under his mind control spell. He boasts he will now leave for Agua Tower to release Tyr, and teleports away from a trapped group. Fortunately, some friendly mole people that Ryu helped before burrow in to help Ryu escape underground, and make haste to Agua Tower as well. Unfortunately, by the time they get there, Jade has successfully released Tyr and now hurries to go meet her. The party moves to chase him again, but Sera stands in their way even while she struggles to break the mind control of Jade. She turns into a light dragon of her own and attacks the group, and forced to defend themselves, they defeat her in this form. Victorious over her, her mind control lifts and she sincerely thanks Ryu, but the toll the battle took was too much and she dies before him anyway, reassuring him he did the right thing. They catch up to Jade and he mocks their tardiness due to Sera. He reveals he is all-powerful now thanks to Tyr, and strikes down the party in a single blast as the demonstration. Ryu himself wakes up 3 days later, delivered to care in his hometown thanks to the lingering will of Sera, as Karn now bursts in, saying Jade has resurrected Obelisk, the buried home of Tyr that was underneath Scan this whole time. More determined than ever, they head to Obelisk before Jade can torment anyone else, and once inside they are soon intercepted by Goda, bursting through the wall and eager to crush the party. The mighty Stone Man still falls to the might of Ryu and team, and pressing on, the group finds Jade, still drunk on his newfound power. Ryu's vengeance for Sera is swiftly dealt, as the monstrous transformation granted to him by Tyr does little to save him from his own destruction. Conceited till the end, Jade said he knew he was going to lose anyway ever since he released the goddess, labeling her the goddess of destruction as he falls. Meeting the goddess herself soon after, Tyr wonders what wish she can grant for Ryu, but he refuses any such temptation, choosing instead to challenge the seemingly mild maiden. Enraged at such hostile insolence, the mask drops, and Tyr unleashes her full demonic form on the group. United in their cause, Ryu and his companions across the world, Nina, Bo, Karn, Gobi, Ox, Blue, and Mogu, stand their ground and combine their strength to destroy the goddess that would see their world drown in chaos. As her physical form falls and fades away, Tyr proclaims the mortals cannot truly win, and their victory is only temporary, promising to return. As Obelisk collapses as well, the group seems doomed, but fortunately the Bird Clan is there to swoop in and rescue the new saviors of the world. As the game ends, the spirit of Sera appears before Ryu, proud of his deeds and impressed at the legend he and his companions have created. She disappears from him after one last farewell, as now the spirit of the Dragon Lord, who has been watching the journey from every dragon shrine Ryu has visited so far, appears before the group. He is equally impressed, but reminds the group their job now is to help those who have lost the most during this war and begin the rebuilding. Knowing there will be time for celebration later, the group takes their time to return to their respective villages and begin work. Mogu returns as a hero and master digger for the Mole people, having more confidence in himself. Blue returns to sleep in her chambers as an immortal. Ox is greeted by his newborn child and prepares to now be a father. Gobi sets up the largest shop in Prima, ready to turn a profit. Karn returns to his normal life and hustle, as does Bo back with the Beast Folk. After Nina has returned safely to her father and her kingdom, Ryu makes a lonely trek back to his small village. As the sun sets on his legendary quest, Ryu pauses to remember the sacrifice of his sister Sera as he looks forward now to the future of the world ahead. Breath of Fire has enjoyed the success of selling over 220,000 copies worldwide.